Hey everyone, Mherex here, bringing you another video. This is going to be my showcase of Drew McIntyre, the Chosen One. He's this weekend's Flash Feud character. He's a focus showboat. You might be short on focus showboat shards. I think that's one. A lot of people have leveled focus showboats, so be aware of that. Good news is this is old school Drew, his first run in the WWE. So he's PG era. Which is great because we can use all the love we can get at PG era, so that is awesome. He has the 3MB link, matching red gems charge moves of that color by 1 more MP, and PG era, any color moves start with 1 more MP. He does have a gear, 200% more yellow gem damage. We'll look at his gear after we play through it without his gear. I'll grab it from the mailbox and then show you what he does with his gear at the very end. But for the bulk of this showcase, it'll feature him without the gear, and then we'll add it at the end. I do like the way it looks with the headband and stuff, by the way. So he's a coach. Purple gems do 40% more damage, and trap gems do 60% more damage. We're very short on trap coaches. We really only have Steamboat. So I do like this coach ability. Plus we get the 40% purple as well with the trap. And of course, traps and purple go together like peas and carrots. However, do keep in mind with this one, you're better off using a zombie coach if you're using it's a trap plate, right? So I do think it's a very strong coach potentially, but I think in a lot of areas the zombie coaches will be used instead. So maybe not quite as good as it potentially looks, other than like for those people that have per trap damage, and I don't think there's a huge significant number where it's damage per trap that's massive. If there ends up being somebody with a massive per damage trap base, then this becomes a stellar coach. But right now I think it's potentially good. It's one I think you kind of want to have in your back pocket potentially, but right now I don't think it's like any kind of deal breaker or anything like that, if it makes sense. And I could be wrong about that. That's just off the top of my head. But I'm pretty sure there's no one that's massive damage per trap. I mean, like really big damage. We obviously have some per trap damage people, but I don't think any of them are huge. Where you're talking like this gives you the potential to hit like 60 or 70 million unblockable damage off that move. All right, so let's jump in here. Drew is great, actually. So he's S plus tier, and he's very good. He's a super strong showboat in a very weak era. Strap we're going to be using for this is just a regular 100%, regular Fury 2, so I'm not skewing any of the damage. I'm going to start with my least favorite moveset first. I think it's my least favorite anyway, and it's really strong. And again, all this is done without gear to start. So we're going to run the Glasgow Kiss, 5 MP, 470k damage, gain 10 green MP. It's also reversal. It's a leech reversal. So if they make reversals, you steal their opponent and their leech gems. So, and then you get, your turn. So Future Shock DDT, also 5 MP, so really low charge. We like that. 540k damage, choose 7x2 area to make into protect gems of 1.42 million. So it's 14 gems, 1.42 million. Not a ton of protect strength, really, but it's some. And then the neck breaker. This is 10 MP green. Deal 1.5 million damage plus 1.42 million bonus damage for every protect gem. So you're getting a big damage off the protect gems, unblockable. Then finisher, another 1.5, and choose a 7 by area to swap into yellow gems, pin the opponent. Now, you might be asking, Mherex, why aren't you using a green move damage medal? Because, you're giving up a lot of damage. If you haven't noticed, if you're using a takedown moveset or strap, like 100%, 150, and then like takedown 3s, you'll get a little bit of move damage. But if you're using like a fury set, so you can kick out easier, so you do some damage with your gem damage, and you just have that 250% metal on a fury 3. When they have fury 3s, they have at least like, I want to say it's like 200 to 250. You're basically hitting for 0 on your move damage. So even though this looks really spicy at 1.5 and 1.5, like 3 million base, unless you're using a full takedown set, and even if you use a full takedown set, you're not getting its full advantage. It just isn't really going to do a lot. So that would just skew the damage further when you're playing top competition versus top competition. So Entourage is really easy to start. Kofi, Otis for 100% more protect. The hardest one though is by far Tuso. So I guess I shouldn't say it's easy. It's all easy except for Tuso. You wouldn't want to run this moveset without Tuso, so he's kind of important. And then Bailey. So we're focusing all in on that. So we're doing basically 4.5 million bonus damage for every protect gem, and we have 14 of them. So 14 times 4.5 gives you basically 62 million-ish, 63 million-ish unblockable damage, and then the rest of your damage that comes from that. So really simple gameplay loop. So MP up. The only downside is having to place the protect gems. I wish it just was automatically the bottom 2 rows. Then you wouldn't have to worry about placing them. Then we hit the finisher. We do that like 62, 63 million unblockable. And then we put the yellows down for a little bit of gem damage, which is the tune of 10 million. So it's basically like 73 million total with some protect gems on there. It's going to get most people for sure. But I think that is my least favorite moveset. Now, I think I can make a case that this potentially is my favorite moveset, which is kind of weird. Maybe you might think when you see the last moveset and also how many variables I have for the last moveset. But I will get into my reasons more when we get into the last moveset, which I think will be most people's favorite. But I do think this is probably mine, and I do love me a bunch of unblockable damage. So we're going right here. So Drew also has 3 finishers, by the way. This is the second finisher, Power Bomb. Oh, it's 3 new moves. Let's read them all. Gutbuster, also the double 5 MP black to get loaded, so that's awesome. Low charge, you guys know I love that. 490k damage, gain 9 yellow MP. Not sure why this one isn't 10 when the others are. That would come into play in boss battle, right? With recycling back to the yellow potentially. You'd need a black to yellow main plate in boss battle. So just keep that in mind. Claymore kick, otherwise everywhere else it's fine, and not like you're going to really need to recycle. 550k damage, make 35 randoms into reinforce, and then Power Bomb, 1 million damage plus 480k bonus damage for every reinforced gem. There's that unblockable damage. Then Finisher, 1 million damage, make 49 random gems into black gems. So you're making the whole board into black gems. Yeah. So Entourage for this one is some people you probably aren't using a lot, to the tune of like Junkyard Dog. 75% more damage on those reinforces and 3 more. Andre, you create a couple more reinforce, but it's only 50% damage on the reinforce, I believe. So I think Junkyard's the better play here. Woods for the black MP, Yoko for 100% reinforce, and Zombie Sammy if you have him for 60% reinforce. After Zombie Sammy, the bottom drops out for reinforce, and you're basically using 40% black gem damage instead, but then you lose that unblockable. So here you see we're up to 38 gems at 1.6 million damage per, which gives you basically 60.8 million unblockable damage. So you're doing 60 million no matter what, and then you hit your finisher, which is basically blowing up the board twice. All right, so I'm pretty straightforward. I tend to not like reinforce though, because it takes a little bit longer, but I do really like the unblockable. Also, his gear will play no effect for these, well, a little bit of effect on the first moveset, not a ton, and 0 effect on this moveset. But you can see we're just going to pop him for like that 60 mil here, 61 mil, and then we're going to get a bunch of gem damage on top of it. To the tune of 15 million. So that's like 75 mil, and that should put most everyone down. We do now have reinforced plates though, for black gems, either the black one or the universal one, and they did recently buff these. It would have been really, really nice if they had done that to start with, because a lot of people, myself included, I was like $10 away from being able to get one I chose, but at 100% I'm like, why would I do that? Because you can just use something like this in most cases and get your 100%. So in my case, I would be putting the radical plate on. So I'll show this with the radical plate, and then I'll put the new reinforced plate as well. So radical is going to give us 100% because double black. We previously did 15 mil on the last part. Let's see how much 100% adds from that 15. It's like 15.5, I think. And then basically that would tell you exactly how much we'll get with the next one. But I'll just put it on anyway. 15.5 to 19. We basically gained like 4.5 million. So that puts us up to like that in the initial move puts you like 80 million total. And when we put the reinforced plate on, it's probably going to go to like that 19 will probably become like 24, and we'll go to like 84 million. But let's find out if in fact that works the way I think. I'll use either the universal or the black one, whichever one I find first, assuming I have this on this account. There's the universal one. So this is getting an additional 100%. So we should come in at like I said, right around like 24 million with that finisher, the gem damage, based on the improvement we saw with 100%. And I haven't tried the plates yet, any plates on him. So this is all, that's not true. The next set I used, tried a couple plates on. Not all the plates we're going to use in this, but a couple. But I haven't tried any plates on this set yet, so. And 23, not quite 24, so almost 24. So really, I mean, even the 200% on the reinforce, is it that big of a deal? Not really. If there's a gem buff, certainly it's a bigger deal. Or like in Vader's case, if you can make multiplies off the reinforce, those, like if there's a gem buff or a multiply, then it's a much bigger deal. And someone like Drew, it's really not that big of a deal if you don't have them. You just use the radical plate, get in the showdown shop, 250k showdown currency for free. You just have to wait for it to show up, and then of course farm the 250k currency. Anyway, there's that build. This last one, I'm gonna have 3 different trainer setups for you guys, so you can kind of see. We're gonna start low, and then we're gonna kind of grow it from there. Actually, the first setup is completely free to play trainers. Drew himself is not free at all. But well, I just figured it would be entertaining for me to run him with free-to-play trainers. So that's what I'm going to do, right? Because that's what I want to do. And I think this is the moveset most people run, although I'm pretty sure if I get him, I will run the previous moveset, to be honest. Yeah, but, and I'll talk about why here. So we have the Glasgow Kiss. You guys have already seen this one. It's the MP up. Then we get the big boot. 7 MP green. Deal 500k damage. Make 6 random gems into multiply gems of strength 5. It doesn't really sound like a lot. But it ends up being a lot with the right trainer setups. And we'll get into that. It's also hardcore. So on a striker, you're going to make 6 more gems into multiply gems of strength 5. So pretty much auto win against any striker. And then you have white noise finisher, 1 million damage, and you also increase your yellow gem damage by 100%. So here in this case, we have multiply gems and a buff. Those are always very powerful, and it's not an exception with Drew. However, of course, then the finisher also deals another 1 million damage, and then 7x7 random area into yellow. So you make the whole board yellow, gem buff yellow, multiplies, yellow's his primary color, Bob's your uncle. But the thing to note about this moveset is it hits every main reversal. You got your MP increase, so anyone with an MP increase reversal gets you. You have your multiply gem, so anyone with a multiply reversal gets you. And then you have your gem percentage buff here, which is, it's happening before it says finisher. So unless it's fixed, let me know in the comments if you've noticed if it's fixed or not, or maybe it's never going to be fixed. I'm not 100% sure at this point anymore. The gem buff is before it says finisher, and that usually lets the reversal work, but I haven't tested it anytime recently. I'll try and test it out with some of my people this Flash feud to see if I can find out for sure. But potentially you're hitting all 3 all your Hall of Famers, you can't use this against. Anyone with the multi-reversal, which there have been last month's characters all had multiply reversal, and then anyone with the MP up reversal. So that's worth noting. You got to dodge a lot of bullets with this moveset. And in Feud, I don't like thinking a ton and worrying about it so much. So that's probably why I'd run the reinforced set, where you only have to dodge the MP up. Anyway, I digress. Let's get it there, run this. It's not going to look amazing with this trainer setup without gear, but I just wanted to show it on the outside chance anyone gets them from a bag that's free to play or that kind of thing. So there's at least one completely friendly setup, and it gets better with plates, significantly better with plates. Obviously, it flows super well. It's actually really, really fast. And even with free-to-play trainers, it's pretty strong. 51 million no plates is actually pretty decent. And there's a lot of plates you can throw on. Pretty decent, though. All right, let's move it up. Let's say you have Howdy and Zombie LA. Also, by the way, Mosh is 100% better than Sherry for this build. It's another case. Mosh has been serially undervalued by so many players, and there are lots of cases where Mosh is better. This is another one. He's really an MVP type of coach or trainer. If you haven't been using him, 1, what are you doing with your life? 2, level him up and use him. There's plenty of people he's good on. And if you're free to play and you don't have Sherry on your roster, even if you're not free to play, either of those two scenarios, Mosh is going to be like incredible for you. So you're going to want to get him leveled up to his max training ability with the quickness. And actually, let me make sure. Yeah, he is. He's leveled up enough. He only needs 5-star gold, I think, for his, which was also nice. He might need 6-star bronze. I can't remember. All right, anyway, better trainers. So obviously Howdy gives us double the multiply gems that we had before. So this is how many multiply gems, though, you'd have against a striker as well with that previous moveset. And you can see we're all the way up to 75 million without trainers. Or I mean, without plates. So obviously really strong. And obviously the gear makes all of these hit harder, right? So that's really strong. And now we're going to go with if you have Leo as well. So if you don't have Howdy or you don't have Leo, then Zombie LA is the replacement. Otherwise, any zombie is the replacement, right? So, but this will be his like top end set. We just did 75, and let's see what we do here. And we do 85 million without any plates. We're already up to 85, right? So Drew is good. Drew is very good. It's 3 different move sets that you can use. We haven't put plates on this set yet. So just for funsies, I'll do the bottom and the top with plates. I won't do the middle. You'll have an idea. You saw how close it is. You should be plenty fine. So the best plate would be the new Multiply Universal 100% one, right? But that one was very difficult to get. So instead of that, I am going to go ahead and use the LA Bite, which is obtainable for free. Showdown Store, 250k. It adds 50% yellow gem damage. The new Multiply Universal one, if I'm not mistaken, I think was 100%. This Acolyte. Yeah, it was 100%. So it's only a 50% difference, whatever. I don't care. This is way more accessible plate, so we're going to run that one. 50% more is something, but not crazy. And then the Nightmare plate. So these are 2 high access plates. Feud chests, I believe you can score the Nightmare plate out of. And then the LA Bite from the Showdown Store. So really accessible plate, not really accessible trainers on right now. We'll do the free to play first and make it accessible trainers. Because this is a setup, conceivably, 6 months from now, say you get Drew or you get him in a bag, and you're free to play. This is potentially a total setup you could run. So why not? Let's see what he does. It was like 54 million or 53 million, I think, without plates with this moveset. Let's see what he does with the 2 sets of plates. All the way up to 70. So, I mean, like, it goes way up for 2 reasons. 1, multiply, 2, buff. So, you know, 150% is a big deal. So, like, if you have a 150 strap and you're gaining 50% on this, also a big deal. And if you do happen to have that plate, an extra 50% will definitely be significant. It's certainly, when you're talking about multiplies and buff percentages, it doesn't take a lot to start to make a difference. And then also min-maxing your metals, getting yellow gem damage on every metal and stuff like that, you can pump it up even further. And then I'll throw the gear on and run this top set one more time. And I'll probably throw the 100% plate on and run this twice. So then we're up to 118 million now with plates. No gear, 118 million. Drew can slap. Obviously, yellow boss, he'll be great. And my one concern is all the reversals with that moveset. That's my one concern. But you can work around that. That's completely workable around. And the more reversals we get, the more it's going to be a thing. It just gets harder and harder to dodge them. Right? So. Now, it is possible with this gear that we can 2-click and not worry about the MP up. So we will also try that, which I haven't tried because I haven't had the gear. So we got the headband Drew gear. Did he just get skinnier? Looks like it makes him a little bit skinnier. Whatever, doesn't matter. And let's run this top end one more time. And then see if we can 2-click actually with greens. I haven't used those trainers yet, so you'll have to bear with me. But I'm assuming we're probably going to go like 170. I'm guessing 175 right here. I could be way off base. It might be 150, but I'm thinking 175. Let's find out. Ah, 163. Not too bad. Not too far off. 163 mil with no cascade, right? So, yeah, Drew's a beast. He's definitely a beast. And now let's see if we can 2-click him, because that makes him, in my opinion, way more interesting too. He gets really fast then, and then you lose the MP up. So we're gonna, like I said, I don't think I didn't even try this. So give me 1 second. There was no point, I didn't think, without the gear. It was too low damage to make it work, because you can't use Howdy or Leo or Mosh, so you just end up losing everything. But this way, I think we can maybe come in over 80 million 2-click, which is pretty dang good. So we need, steel should be towards the bottom here. There he is. And then we need Roxanne. She must be equipped. She should be coming right there. And then we need Santa. And Howdy is definitely going to be the play for more multiply gems, by the way. All right. Can we 2-click? I'm thinking yes, to be honest. Although those are baby multiply gems, so maybe not. But I do think we break 80. Maybe? Question mark? 86. Yeah. So I think with the gear, that opens up the possibility of 2-clicking. And he might, I haven't timed it, that might be the fastest showboat. Right? And 86 million's enough. But that would take the gear. And this is a really big Santa, but it's only 100% strap. So I think it's probably close enough that you could run this for sure and that would probably be the fastest showboat, I think. So he's easily, I think, top 3 showboat with or without the gear. I think he's a top 3 showboat. With the gear, you could maybe start making the case he becomes the best. I don't know. My personal 3 would probably now be, for me, I love Sammy and I'm a Mark, so I think I'm biased. Dudinator is my favorite. Drew is a really weak era. So I think I'd probably put Drew number 2 and Gunther number 3. Gunther can 2-click for a metric butt ton with a yeet drip combo, but he's got some protect gems going down and some stuff going on there. That makes it a little bit, definitely slower than Drew's 2-click. I think it's actually slower than Sammy's 3-click, but I haven't timed it, to be honest, any of them. It's just more by feel. So I think Drew, with or without gear, top 3 showboat, and I think with gear you make a case he's potentially the best showboat. He's also super versatile, which I love, right? So just thinking about this, right? You can do yellow boss, for sure, quite effectively, and grow the damage, right? It's also 10 green MP, so on a no, which is almost every boss, a no plate boss, he's just going to continue to get better every time. So there's that. Reinforced build, you got the damage per reinforce plus the black, and obviously really good shield breaker on black at that point. Protect gem, probably nothing really ever going to happen with that. But it's a really big base, right? So if there's ever like a 5 times protect gem boss, maybe it gets more interesting, but I doubt, to be honest, it's ever kind of enough. So as far as showdown goes, he's low charge, so no issues there. So he's somebody you can use in every facet of the game. Plus PG era super weak. Coach is cool. Right now, not needed. So, you know, Coach, I think, though, potentially someday could be very strong. But to my knowledge right now, there's no one with that huge base per trap modifier, right? You ever see anyone with like a 1 million base trap and they're making like 30 traps or something, though? Then that his coach will be like chef's kiss, right? And then people that don't have It's a Trap or don't use It's a Trap, and then purple and trap together would be pretty good, right? So those are my thoughts on Drew. Like I said, I think easily top 3 showboat. With gear, maybe the best showboat. Without gear, easily top 3. So great showboat. I want to get him in a weak era. So excellent addition to the game. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this showcase. And remember to like, subscribe, and share, because that really helps me out. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching and good luck out there. Yeah, this Drew's definitely the chosen one. Very good addition to the game. Very good.